somewhere between midnight and morning, everything changed. March 4th, 2022. It was a quiet night in Camas, a sleepy town in northern Utah. At 3:22 a.m., a woman made a frantic emergency call, reporting that her husband was not breathing. Paramedics were immediately dispatched to 282 Willow Court. Inside the master bedroom near the foot of the bed, responders found a 39-year-old man with no signs of life. He was pronounced dead at 3:36 a.m. Just what at first seemed like a tragic accident would soon reveal something far darker. Camas is a rural town known for camping, hunting, fishing, and hiking. Crimes like this were rare here. Eric and his wife, Corey Richens, were well-known faces in the community. Eric ran a successful construction company, and Corey sold luxury properties in Park City. Together, they were raising 3 sons. From the outside, everything looked picture perfect, but appearances can be deceiving. That early morning, as officers left the scene, no one realized they had just stepped away from the beginning of a homicide investigation that would soon capture national headlines. Because when the autopsy results came back, everything changed. But was this a tragic accident or the first sign of something far more sinister? A perfect family hiding cracks. Within Eric Richens, the son of Jean and Linda Richens, was born in 1982, where he earned a degree in construction management and business from the University of Utah. Eric was disciplined and hardworking, running his own successful construction company. He had a deep passion for hunting. In 2011, Eric faced heartbreak when he lost his first wife in a tragic car accident. He remarried Corey Richens in 2013. Corey, a bold and ambitious woman, worked as a real estate investor and house flipper. Eric valued caution. Corey embraced calculated risks, using debt as a tool to grow quickly. Between 2015 and 2020, Corey began facing financial troubles. Debts mounted and money flowed from their accounts for bills and lifestyle expenses. Eric grew increasingly concerned. He discovered significant financial irregularities, loans taken out against their home without his knowledge, and over $200,000 unaccounted for. These challenges planted early seeds of strain in their marriage. Major conflict erupted over a $2 million Park City mansion. Corey wanted it. Eric refused, fearing financial ruin. Then, unexplained medical crises began striking Eric, and he started to suspect they were no accidents. Was this just a marriage under stress, or were the cracks hiding a dangerous truth? The warning sign. During a trip to Greece, Eric drank something prepared by his wife. He became weak, ill, and dizzy. Doctors called it food poisoning. By early 2022, things had reached a worrying stage. On Valentine's Day, Corey left Eric a sandwich that made him violently sick. He struggled to breathe, used an EpiPen that belonged to one of the boys, and later fell into a deep sleep. Later, he told a friend, "My wife tried to poison me." Concerned for his sons and determined to avoid publicly shattering the family, Eric quietly began planning a separation. He revised his will, removed his wife as a beneficiary, and revoked her financial authority. On March 3rd, 2022, Corey made Eric a Moscow Mule cocktail. According to her, they were celebrating a property purchase. At some point, Corey stepped away to check on one of their sons, leaving Eric alone for a few minutes. When she returned hours later, she claimed she found him unresponsive at the foot of their bed. Panic set in, and she called 911. First responders rushed in, but despite their efforts, Eric was pronounced dead just before 5 a.m. The initial assumption might have been heart failure, but toxicology would later reveal a far more chilling truth. Eric had not died naturally. He had succumbed to fentanyl toxicity at levels 5 times what could be accidental. Had a loving wife really poisoned her husband, or was someone trying to craft the perfect crime? A death re-examined. When toxicology examined Eric Richens' blood, they found something that did not belong there. Fentanyl, not trace amounts, not accidental exposure, but 5 times what is considered fatal. Eric had no prescription, no history of opioid abuse, and no record of seeking such drugs. From that moment, the tone of the investigation changed. Investigators examined Corey's phone in silence. She had said she slept in her son's room. Yet between midnight and 3 a.m., the device was repeatedly unlocked. Messages were sent. Some were erased. Deleted does not mean gone. Backups restored conversations about pain medication, slang, and quiet references to powerful opioids. And then the bank records surfaced. 2 payments of $900, one in December, one in February each, followed by a medical crisis. The morning after Eric's death, she called a locksmith, needing urgent access to a safe. Search history revealed questions about lethal doses and detection timelines. Not emotion, calculation. What had once looked circumstantial now formed a steady chronological line. Preparation, escalation, death. About a year after her husband's death, Eerily Richens published a children's book, Are You With Me?, to help her 3 sons cope with grief. It was released one day after the anniversary of his death. Rehook. Was this a mother trying to heal her children or someone carefully shaping a story to hide the truth? Part 05. The Knock. On May 8th, 2023, investigators took Eerily Richens into custody. The same woman who wrote a children's book to help her sons grieve the death of their father was now facing trial for his murder. The case shook the entire Camas community. Sympathy shifted into suspicion. Eric's business shut down. The family home was lost. The children were placed with relatives. The book was removed from shelves. There were now 2 sides to the story, a widow promoting healing and a defendant facing a courtroom trial. While the court would determine legal guilt, one truth is undeniable. The knife of betrayal often comes wrapped in the warmth of familiarity, and as the trial loomed, honored the perfect picture of a family lay shattered, each piece telling its own story. But in the end, was this the story of a grieving widow or the final act of a carefully controlled deception?